So TikTok sent me a community guidelines violation for posting scholarly information. Check this out. This is what I posted. National Geographic Black Pharaohs, Conquerors of Ancient Egypt. So that's what I posted, right? And then I opened up and showed what it said inside of the magazine. I showed this picture of Tutankhamun, and I showed this page where it says Africa. It says the ignored chapter of history tells of a time when king from deep in Africa conquered ancient Egypt. And then it says Black Pharaohs by Robert Dressner. And then I showed this other page. Okay. It's inside the magazine. And then I read this excerpt from here where it says the ancient world was devoid of racism at the time of Pi's historic conquest. The fact that his skin was dark was irrelevant. Artwork from ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome shows a clear awareness of racial features and skin tone, but there is little evidence that darker skin was seen as a sign of inferiority. Now, this is the part that they took offense to, and I'm just basically reading out of the magazine. It says even famed Harvard Egyptologist George Reisner, whose discoveries between 1916 and 1919 offered the first archaeological evidence of Nubian kings who ruled over Egypt. Then it says, besmirched his own findings by insisting that, and then I flipped the page, right? Explain what he actually was detesting. That black Africans could not possibly have constructed the monuments. He was excavating. He believed that Nubian leaders, include Pi, were light-skinned Egypto-Libyans who ruled over the primitive Africans. That their monument of greatness was so fleeting, he suggested must be a consequence of the same leaders intermarrying with the Negroid elements. The neglect of Nubian history reflected not only the bigoted worldview of the times, but also a cult-like fascination with Egypt's achievements and complete ignorance of Africa's past. And then I showed some more pictures. This is what I showed. This is from the magazine. Okay? It says statues of Nubian kings up to 10 feet high were found buried at Nubia capital of Kerma in Sudan, smashed during Egyptian king Samek II's incursion south about 593 BC. They were recently reassembled. This says revisiting that golden age in Africa desert does little to advance the case of Afrocentric Egyptologists who argue that all ancient Egyptians from King Tut to Cleopatra were black Africans. Nonetheless, the saga of Nubians proved that civilization from deep in Africa not only thrived, but briefly dominated in ancient times, intermingling and sometimes intermarrying with their Egyptian neighbors to the north. King Tut's own grandmother, the 18th dynasty Queen Tai, is claimed by some to be of Nubian heritage. Then I showed King Tarhaka, right? And I showed these images here. I showed these images here, right? I didn't show these images here, but these are the pyramids, right? And last but not least, I showed King Tut's grandmother, who is Queen Ti. It says Queen Ti, King Tut's grandmother, have Nubian ancestry. This bust made of wood that has darkened with age has inspired claim that she did. So those are the images that I put up on my TikTok, and they flagged my video for copyright, or I should say community guidelines violation, which pushes me in the position where I'm going to have to just focus purposely directly on my books, because if you want scholarship, I guess you have to pay for it. And TikTok is a good place for information, but it seems like that since the knowledge is being far increased, there's a lot of hatred towards us because we're waking up to the truth of who we are as a people. And so they are flagging and they're doing all kinds of things to prevent the people who are in search of knowledge from getting the knowledge that they're seeking for. So that's all I have. Shalom.